Okay, good evening. I'm calling this meeting to order. We're going to have the invocation from Reverend Troy L. Mammon of Travelers Rest, Maimon, Travelers Rest Missionary Baptist Church of Morrow. After that, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would, stand with me.
Let us look to the Father God right now in the name of Jesus. We just pause to give your name glory, honor, and praise. We know that you are the sovereignty, you are the majesty up on high. God, you orchestrated this from the foundation of this earth. God, you knew today we would be here, so have your way and be thou glorified in this place. We know you're sitting up high. Master, we know that you're looking down low. You're looking upon us even as we orchestrate and oversee the business of your city, of your county. God, make a way out of no way today. We look unto the hills for whence cometh our help, knowing that all of our help is coming from the Lord who framed heaven and earth. So God, we ask that you be glorified. All of you and none of us. Let us decrease. Master, allow yourself to increase. Hold us in the hollow of your hand. Lastly, God, we just ask that you look upon us, that all these things are done decently and in order. Mm-hmm. It is in the matchless, in the mighty name of Jesus that we pray. Let every heart say, Amen. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to the April 4th, 2017 regular business meeting. The first order of business is the adoption of the agenda. Does any member want to offer any amendments? Hearing none, may we have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Is there a motion? I'll second it. Properly moved and second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Approval of the March 21st, 2017 regular business meeting minutes and the March 18, 2017 Commissioners Retreat minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
The board has one proclamation to present this evening. Clayton County observes National Library Week, April 9th through the 15th, 2017, as presented by Chairman Turner. Ms. Rosalind Lett from Library Services, along with any staff, if you would please come forward.
Group on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
In the proclamation reading, whereas National Library Week is celebrated April 9th through the 15th, 2017, with the theme Libraries Transform, which is designed to increase public awareness of the value, impact, and services provided by libraries and library professionals. The Libraries Transform campaign is a multi-year public education and advocacy campaign sponsored across the country to speak loudly and clearly about the value of libraries in the 21st century. And whereas, in 1954, due to growing concerns that Americans were reading less, the National Book Committee was formed. In 1957, the committee developed a plan for National Library Week based on the idea that once people were motivated to read, they would support and use libraries. And whereas National Library Week was first observed in 1958 and is sponsored by the American Library Association to be recognized in the month of April. It is a time to celebrate the contributions of our nation's libraries and librarians and to promote library use and support for all types of libraries, school, public, academic, and special. And whereas libraries offer access to the tool, technology, and training essential to the economic and cultural lives of their communities. The way people are using libraries are changing as fast as technology is changing society. At the center of all types of libraries is the librarian. As the information experts, librarians are selecting books relevant to the community and connecting people to information. And whereas on Tuesday, April 11, 2017, National Libraries Workers' Day would be recognized. This is a day for library staff, users, administrators, and friends groups to recognize the valuable contributions made by all library workers. On Wednesday, April 12, 2017, the National Bookmobile Day celebration would be held for a day to recognize the contributions of our nation's bookmobiles and the dedicated professionals who made quality bookmobile outreach possible in their communities. Now therefore, I, Jeffrey E. Turner, Chairman, on behalf of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, do hereby observe April 9th through the 15th, 2017 as National Library Week and encourages all citizens to join in the National Library Week celebrations by visiting your public, school, or academic library. And witness thereof, I have here to set my hand and cause the seal of Clayton County, Georgia, to be affixed this 4th day of April in the year 2017. Jeffrey E. Turner, Chairman. The board will now hear a presentation as presented by the collaborative firm on Aerotropolis Atlanta Community Improvement District's 2016 Master Plan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the commission. I'm Larry Lucas, representing the collaborative firm. As you know, the collaborative firm has been a long-term representative and provider of services in the area of planning and development, program management, community engagement in the Metro Atlanta area, and we are proud to be associated with the Aerotropolis Master Study Project. This is a role for the collaborative firm to act as liaison between the various municipalities and county governments that comprise the Aerotropolis partnership. And this is a distinctive and separate role from our service to Clayton County as a contract staff provider. We're joined tonight by Mr. Ben Miskelly, representing Kimberly Horn, and also Mr. Gerald McDowell from the Community Improvement District. It's our pleasure to have Mr. Miskelly come forward and make the presentation of the planning study draft. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's good to see Chairman Turner, Commissioner Hambrick again after the early stages of this project, just talking through what Aerotropolis Atlanta meant to Clayton County. So Aerotropolis Atlanta is a combination of two CIDs. With the two CIDs, we have Airport West, which is Fulton County, Airport South, which is Clayton County. these CIDs are huge. They cover 15 square miles. They cover over $500 million of appraised property. They're just very large CIDs. There's over, there's 1,100 properties in the CID. So it's a big CID. While each CID is its own entity, they came together to make the airport better as one CID board. It represents a really exciting opportunity for both Clayton County and Fulton County. So, as most CIDs, it kind of has the four standard objectives: public safety, wayfinding, beautification, and infrastructure. What's different about Aerotropolis is, on top of that, it funnels those into two goals: economic development and changing the brand and perception of the general area around the airport. These kind of leverage the area and kind of help us push and make the area a better place to live, work, and play. As a start with the CID, there was a market analysis performed. With this, it showed kind of the general demographic makeup of Clayton County, Fulton County around the airport, and then a 15-minute drive from the airport. And then it broke down kind of market demands. So with this, market demand really for the area right now is industrial. And then as industrial grows, as we leverage the airport, residential, retail, and office will follow. In the near term, you're going to see kind of industrial and residential making up the majority of that. Because this area is so large, it was divided into 8 different character areas. The one to note in Clayton County of the most importance would be Phoenix Forest, which is kind of your Phoenix Boulevard, Forest Parkway. A little bit area right south of 285 and south of the airport. And then also a piece of Riverdale Sullivan, which is directly adjacent to the airport. When you play all those up and you go into those 4 kind of key objectives, the CID board stakeholders really identified future connections, roadway improvements, interchange beautification, intersection improvements, and wayfinding and signage as the big key projects in this area. From that, they identified 29 projects, which is a large scale for a CID to start to understand and go after 29 unique projects. As a first start, kind of the big key for the CID right now is public safety. And the CID is doing an amazing job, both CIDs, of increasing public safety around the airport. Since the CID's inception, you've seen drops in both Airport West, Airport South, in just total crime. And with that, what's great about it is through their public safety director, they're not stopping. They're continuing to grow. They're continuing to invest in technology. The City of College Park has been an amazing partner in this about kind of increasing public safety for tomorrow. The second big key piece is wayfinding and branding. Anybody knows that's been to the airport, it is a nightmare to get around if you're not from the area. And even if you're from the area, it's sometimes a nightmare to get around. So wayfinding, branding, and really kind of increasing the brand awareness of the area is really key. The CID stakeholders identified 3 different scales of wayfinding: big regional monument signs. Some examples you can kind of see in the north part of Atlanta around Cumberland, these big monument signs. District signs, which are kind of more your entries to your cities and to your areas. And then local signs, which are wayfinding signs for pedestrians. The big push for Airport South is interchanges. The biggest push right away is Riverdale Road at 285, really beautifying that intersection, making that intersection clean and work in combination with Phoenix Boulevard and Riverdale Road itself. Also, we have I-85 at Riverdale Road is another key intersection. And then in the future, there's focus on I-75 at Forest Parkway. So with corridors, there were 3 corridors highlighted by the CID. 2 of them are in Fulton County. They impact the City of College Park tremendously, the first corridor being Virginia Avenue. This is kind of what the CID saw Virginia Avenue as today. This is what they believe Virginia Avenue could be with some investment in the future. Also, another focus is Camp Creek. Camp Creek at the marketplace looks like this today. There's some funding in place to try and create a mixed-use trail along this area with the excess right-of-way from GDOT. In Airport South, the focus was on Phoenix Boulevard. Phoenix Boulevard It has sidewalks at the initial point of it, but it doesn't go the entire length. Sidewalks need to be improved, lighting needs to be improved. This is Phoenix Boulevard today. I believe that this could be Phoenix Boulevard in the future with funds from the CID and private partnerships from private property owners. The other piece, kind of the more boring piece, but the piece that's very crucial is infrastructure. Is really key to this area to get freight away from corridors where we have cars and just that intersection of the two. So with this, truck connections are being studied throughout the CID. And the meat of all this, when it all comes together, is 2 5-year action plans. And for Clayton County, that 5-year action plan is roughly $20 million in infrastructure improvements to intersections, and then an additional $8 million of general improvements, including Phoenix Boulevard and wayfinding and branding. And with that, if you have any questions for me, I will be more than willing to answer them. And we also have Gerald McDowell, who is a genius with this and can answer any questions that you may have.
All right, and board members have any questions?
I do. You mentioned the industrial. Okay, now, is it only going to be industrial or? Okay.
Residential.
Oh, it's going to be.
So the way the market analysis that was done was right now in the near term, you can kind of see, it's hard to see on the screen, but in the near term is going to be industrial and residential. With that, you kind of are leveraging what the airport's doing. Now, that's not to say that industrial is going to be leaching into areas that industrial should be, but this is just generally what the market is kind of pushing for right now.
Any other questions?
I have a follow-up question. Could you elaborate a little bit on the market analysis for Airport North?
For Airport North, so Airport West.
West?
Yeah. So this is for both. So this is not broken out per west, per south. So one concern I know a lot of people have is pushing the industrial southward and not putting it in west. And that's not the case with this. With this is kind of looking at the whole area, and this is a 15-minute drive from the airports. It spans much further than the CID. So this study was not broken out into where Airport West gets, what Airport South gets.
Is there a way that we can go in and break it down? Because are we gonna put the same thing on both sides? I mean,
So with that part's really market driven. That's not really CID driven. The CID can kind of direct economic development, but the CID can't really say this goes here, that goes there. The CID can do wayfinding, branding, infrastructure, improvements of that nature. But this is generally how the market looks to be studied and to be done. Now, with this, we started to see some really interesting trends. If you see the Family Foundations, the Metro Fusion, the American Dreamers, the demographics that are here, and there's very strong demographic storylines in this area that could really leverage that and start to push more towards that residential, retail, and office mix that we'd like to see more of. But a lot of that's out of the CID's kind of realm of things that they can do.
okay.
Any other questions?
Just one. Back in towards the beginning, it's page 8 of the presentation, page 8 that y'all provided us. There. In the top right corner, what's the difference between the different colors in those redevelopment nodes?
So with that, it's just the colors are just to break out and let you be able to see them easier. There's no difference other than that's just where the CID's properties landed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Mr. McDowell, it's good to see you as always. Thank you for being here as well.
The board will now consider request of Director of Central Services, Carol Rogers.
Please take them together unless a board member would like to take one separate. Hearing none, please proceed.
Good evening. I have 13 items to present tonight on behalf of Central Services. The first item is a request for second contract amendment for RFB 15-18, which is services and inspection of generators for Clayton County, Georgia. The request is to amend the contract with Power and Energy Services, Inc., located in Austell, Georgia. This will allow us to add and remove locations and also add language which in the future would allow us to add locations or delete locations as needed. The department requests an amendment to the agreement for the above referenced project has been attached for your review and information. Next item is request for first contract amendment, RFB 15-51, which is concrete construction services for Clayton County, Georgia. This is an annual contract. The request is to amend the current contract with CNC Lovejoy LLC, located in Lovejoy, Georgia. This will allow us to add 16 additional pay items that will address oversights in the bid cost sheet. The Board of Commissioners approved the award on March the 15th, 2016. There are several sources of funding for this project, and depending upon the project, that includes your federal, state, 2004, 2009, and 2015 SPOS funds. The department acceptance, amendment, and price quotes are attached for your review and information. Next item is recommendation for award of RFP 16-96, which is concert promotion services for Clayton County, Georgia, which is an annual contract. The recommendation for award is to the most responsive and responsible proponent, meeting the specifications with the highest score. That is Freestyle Productions, LLC, located in Atlanta, Georgia. Funding is available through the general funds account. The evaluation tabulation summary, department recommendation, and agreement are attached for your review and information. Next item is recommendation for award of RFB 16-98, which is pet food for Clayton County, Georgia. This is an annual contract. The recommendation is for award to the overall lowest responsive and responsible bidder, meet the specifications, which is People's Janitorial Supply, located in Lilburn, Georgia. Funding is available through the department's general fund account. The department recommendation memo, bid tabulation, and agreement are attached for your review and information. Next item is a recommendation to utilize a Georgia statewide contract for the purchase of 4 2017 Ford F-150s, 8 2017 Ford F-250s, and 1 2017 Ford F-350 from Allen Vigil Ford, located in Morrow, Georgia, in the total amount of $346,693.01. Funding is available through the general funds account. The department recommendation memo, vendor quote, and statewide contract price sheet are attached for your review and information. Next item is a recommendation to utilize the Georgia statewide contract for the purchase of 5 2017 Ford Transit vans from Wade Ford, Inc., located in Smyrna, Georgia, in the total amount of $171,755. Funding is available through the general funds account. The department recommendation memo, vendor quote, and statewide contract price sheet are attached for your review and information. Next item is a recommendation to utilize the Georgia statewide contract for the purchase of 1 2017 Chevrolet Tahoe Pursuit vehicle from Hardy Fleet Group, located in Dallas, Georgia, in the total amount of $31,936. Funding is available through the general funds account. Department recommendation memo, vendor quote, and statewide contract price sheet are attached for your review and information. Next request is for a sole source award for the purchase of the Motorola GenWatch 3 software licensing and installation services for the Clayton County Information Technology. The request is to approve the use of the sole source award to Motorola Solutions, located in Lawrenceville, Georgia, for the purchase of the software in the amount of $68,909. Funding is available through the Contract Servicing Fund. The Information Technology Recommendation Letter, the Sole Source Letter, and quote are attached for your review and information. Next item is recommendation for approval to utilize the National IPA Cooperative Contract with CDW Government LLC, located in Tucson, Arizona, to purchase computers, printers, and scanners for various departments in the amount of $189,972.33. Funding is available through the Information Technology Minor Equipment Fund. The department recommendation, the National IPA Renewal Award Letter, and the quote are attached for your review and information. Next item is the request to sell surplus property and equipment. Central Service is requesting the approval from the Board of Commissioners to sell the attached surplus county vehicles and equipment through our contract with Gov Deals, which is located in Montgomery, Alabama. The list of surplus vehicles are attached as Exhibit A for your review and information. Next item is a recommendation for approval to utilize the Texas Department of Information Resources Cooperative Contract with Early Morning Software, Inc., that's DBA is EMS Lab, Inc., for the purchase of PRISM compliance contract and vendor management software. The request is to purchase the items from the company located in Baltimore, Maryland. This will be a part of what we do for the SLBE program. It is for services of software and implementation in the amount of $94,121, with the travel amount not to exceed $6,500. Funding is available through the 2015 SPLOST Fund. The department recommendation memo, vendor statement of work with the quote, and a Texas Department of Information Resource contract are all attached for your review and information. Next item is a request for a sole source award for the purchase of the Nano X-ray machine for Clayton County Police Department. The request is to approve the sole source award to Federal Resources located in Stevensville, Maryland, for the purchase of the Nano X-ray machine in the amount of $35,000. Funding is available through the GEMA Grant Fund. The Police Department recommendation memo, sole source letter, and quote are attached for your review and information. And the final item is for the recommendation for the purchase of 41 2017 Dodge Charger vehicles utilizing the Georgia statewide contract. We will be purchasing from Atkinson Ford Dodge Jeep Chrysler located in Winder, Georgia, in the amount of $979,639.75. Funding is available through the 2015 SPLOST Fund account. The department recommendation memo, the vendor quote, and statewide contract price sheet are attached for your review and information. I request that you approve the recommendations, authorize the chairman or his designee to execute all necessary documents to accomplish the intent of the contracts, and authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget accordingly. And that's all my items.
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna take a motion to approve all except for item number 3, and then we'll come back and take that one separate, RFP 16-96. Is there a motion?
Also, I'll make that
Make a
motion.
motion. So
Second.
moved.
Commissioner Warner made the motion, Commissioner Edmondson second. Any questions on any of the items?
I have two questions. And Ms. Rogers, these may or may not be you, but
Okay.
the first one has to do with item number 1, the inspection of the generators.
Yes.
I don't hardly know what a generator looks like, I'll admit, but my question has to do with the inspection of the boiler that was at the Steve Lundquist Aquatic Center and the value we're getting from these inspection contracts as it relates to these big, expensive pieces of equipment. Does this contract for the inspection of generators give us information so that we can measure the life cycle of these machines, or is there warranty work? What happens after warranty work? Is there a discount because of the
And I don't, right,
contract?
this one is not as part of that contract, but I'll let you, if you want to speak to it.
Yes, Commissioner. So that particular contract did not, the boiler system would not fall up under this respective contract. However, we are
No,
looking
but
at-
they're similar in inspections, right?
Right. So what we're doing now is part of the fact that we do have boilers in our system, we now will add that as part of an RFP. So therefore, when we have challenges like we have with the natatorium, then ultimately that won't be something we have to really be concerned about, because we have someone that will be inspected on a regular basis.
No, I was of the impression from Mr. Hodges that there was an inspection company on the boilers.
So we have.
And that's what raised the question on this one. There's an inspection company for generators. So we're not getting this, we weren't getting the same from the boilers as we were on the generators, but
maintenance contract for the boilers for the natatorium in its totality.
okay.
Opposed to just that particular component. So we have a contract of record that takes care of all the water maintenance on the building, to include parts of those, but it did not include, it didn't include specifically the boilers.
But that's being fixed in the new RFP. And then as it relates to the generators, that component's already in here for maintenance and inspection, or is this just for maintenance? I mean, just inspection without maintenance?
This one is for actually the PM part, so it's preventative maintenance. There's a cost in there. If they need to have services outside of that we have to approve beforehand.
Okay, thank you.
On the one for the center, the natatorium, are we keeping that same system, or are we getting a new one? Because that center, I mean, that natatorium has been there for a long time.
Yes, ma'am. Good question, Commissioner. So a couple of things. The parts that defaulting, or the challenges we have with the boiler system, there were multiple parts that was failing. So as they would repair one part, there was another part that was failing. What they did, they ended up taking all the internal mechanisms of the boiler and actually repairing all of those. However, what we were requesting is upcoming year's budget, part of the asset management discussion that we had at the retreat, is that we'll have money set aside, so when we have systems that are failing, do we have money set aside, so whenever they reach their life cycles like a boiler, if it's been on the system for 10 years, then we know that we need to automatically put it in the system to replace it within a timely manner.
So are we replacing that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
The other question I have and pertains to that, are we clearly stating within our agreement what is the process for when we go down the road like we did with this boiler, where they kept trying to fix it and kept trying to fix it? At what point are they required to make sure they communicate with others to make sure that we have an opportunity as a board to decide whether we want to replace it, and is there a stop loss and cost for repairs that's included in there? Because I know you said they have to come back to your office in order to.
So the process is, once they're doing preventive maintenance, if they find anything that's an issue, they would notify the police department. In this case, that's building maintenance. At that point, they would submit the scope of work for whatever repairs they felt were necessary, and then we would have to have an internal discussion about if we felt like having those repairs were necessary, or if we felt like we needed to purchase another item. But that would be the process to find out how we would do an analysis on that.
Any other questions?
Yes, number 11, I think it is. What was that? What is that?
So this is the PRISM software that will be used for us to help us track the SLBE. It actually is a process that will allow us to have contract management over the SLBE projects to make sure we're setting those goals within the required vendors that we have available. Okay. It's also going to allow us to electronically have them submit their documents to us instead of manually the way we receive them now. And we'll also be able to link into other counties' database to find potential vendors and subcontractors.
Okay. What about the MBEs?
Same thing, yes, ma'am. It would be for that, and even though we don't do the DBE, it could be for that also.
Okay, thank you.
This is what you talked about in your presentation at the retreat.
Right, yes.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Evans?
Unrelated. Okay, so the statewide contract, the four for the vehicle purchases, 17, 66, 57, 58, and 65. The RFP for a county annual contract that contains a local preference, where are we at in that process? Has that hit the ground yet?
No, but we have started working with the Transportation and Development Department with Fleet. I've been working with Mr. Matarco, and we're trying to make sure that we have the vehicles that are required for the county, so we don't do the entire list.
Right.
So that's our next step. So we should be working back on that by next week. So I anticipate within about a month it should be ready to go out to the street. We're working the time frame on the next set of vehicles that we need to purchase for that.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any
No more
other
questions.
Any other questions?
Wait,
All right, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Let's go back to RFP 16-96. Is there a motion?
So,
Is there a second?
go ahead.
Mr. Edmondson, you second?
No, I was only going to first it. I second.
All right, any questions? Hearing none, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's
Abstain for cause.
One abstention, and it's not unanimous, but four with one abstention. Pass.
All right. Thank you all.
The board would consider request of Chief Financial Officer Ramona Bivens.
Please take them together.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the Commissioners. I have 5 items for your consideration this evening. Budget Amendment 2-14 is for State Narcotics Condemnation Fund. To amend in funds in the amount of $40,000 for salary supplements for the District Attorney's Office. Budget Amendment 2-16 is for Senior Services, to amend the budget in the amount of $62,961 to fund an interdepartmental transfer between Senior Services Administration and the Frank Bailey Senior Center. Budget Amendment 2-17 is for the District Attorney's Office, to amend the budget in the amount of $2,090 to recognize additional revenue and to cover the cost of office supplies. Budget Amendment 2-19 is for other general government, to amend in insurance proceeds received for the repair of a damaged gate at the prison in the amount of $4,515. And Budget Amendment 2-20 is for the fire department, to amend in revenue received to purchase 4 2017 Ford F-150s for use in the fire marshal's office in the amount of $100,000.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second, properly moved and second. Any questions?
I have a question.
Mr. Edmondson.
Ms. Bivens, on 219, could you help me understand the difference between a prison and a jail?
The jail. The jail is, you're testing me, aren't you? Yeah. The jail is operated by the sheriff, and our prison is operated by us, but we house state inmates there.
And we had a gate fail at the prison?
That is my understanding. So the gate was damaged.
It wasn't the gate on the right of the Banky Center that closed in on a county car that got smashed?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
The board will now consider the request of Human Resources Director Pamela Ambles.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, good evening, I should say. Good evening, Chairman, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Human Resources, we have one request on behalf of the Police Department. This request has no budgetary impact. The Police Department is requesting to merge ORG 3101, which is their Gang Intelligence and Narcotics Division, with ORG 3001 Police Administration. The merger will put all Police Department employees under one umbrella, the umbrella of ORG 3001. Human Resources, we can't identify a negative impact in regards to this request. If approved, 20 employees will move over from 3101 to 3001.
Is there a motion?
So,
Is there a
second.
second? Probably moved and second. Any questions? Hearing none. Those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Interim Chief Staff Attorney Jack Hancock.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I have 8 items for your consideration. Ordinance 2017.
Take them together, please.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 2017-19 is an ordinance adopted under the Home Rule powers granted pursuant to Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 1 of the Constitution of the State of Georgia of 1983 to amend the local act of the General Assembly creating the Clayton County Civil Service System, 1994 Georgia laws, page 4399, to accept Superior Court judicial secretaries from the civil service system, to provide an effective date of this ordinance and for other purposes. Ordinance 2017-23 is an ordinance to amend the Code of Clayton County, Georgia, as amended specifically to amend Part 1, Chapter 82, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places, Article 4, Sidewalks, Section 82-71, Sidewalk Construction, to repeal conflicting laws, ordinances, and resolutions, to provide for severability, to provide for an effective date of this ordinance, and for other purposes. Item 13 is a request by the Clayton County Parks and Recreation Department that the Board of Commissioners approve the special facility use request submitted by Get Pulsed Fitness to host a national dance and fitness event inside Clayton County International Park on August the 12th, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. to continue the fight against obesity. Further, to authorize the chairman to execute the agreement and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of the agreement, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, all as may be required under the terms of the agreement. Item 14 is a license agreement with Drinking Partners for a Father's Day barbecue and blues. The Clayton County Parks and Recreation Department is requesting the approval of this board to enter into that license agreement with Drinking Partners LLC to utilize Clayton County International Park Amphitheater for a Father's Day barbecue and blues concert on Sunday, June the 18th, 2017, for total recommended fees of $6,200. Further, authorize the chairman to execute the agreement and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of the agreement, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, all as may be required under the terms of the agreement. Item 15, the Clayton County Senior Services Department is requesting approval of an agreement for the Summer Food Service Program with Girls First Inc. of Stockbridge, Georgia. Girls First Inc. will provide 2 hot meals per day for a 9-week period for the Kinship Care Summer Program. The meals will be served, the meals served will include breakfast and lunch for 120 Kinship Care Summer Camp participants ages 5 to 15. Further requesting that the authorize the chairman to execute the agreement and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of the agreement, to authorize Chief Financial Officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, all as may be required under the terms of the agreement. The Clayton County Fire and Emergency Services Department is requesting the Board of Commissioners approve the statewide Georgia Emergency Management Mutual Aid and Assistance Agreement to assist the Georgia Emergency Management Agency, Homeland Security, in the case of an emergency. This is a continuation of the agreement executed by the Board of Commissioners in 2012 and will expire on March 1st of 2020. Further, the request is to authorize the chairman to execute the agreement and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of the agreement, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, all as may be required under the terms of the agreement. Clayton County Juvenile Court requests the Board of Commissioners authority to apply for and, if awarded, accept the 2017-2018 Juvenile Justice Incentive Grant from the Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for up to $750,000 with no local match funds required. That's with no local match funds required. This grant funding will allow the existing program to continue to serve the highest risk youth and support 1 full-time juvenile court officer position. The award period begins July 1st, 2017 and expires on June 30th, 2018. Further, to authorize the chairman to execute the agreement and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of the agreement, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, all as may be required under the terms of the agreement. The Clayton County Water Authority is requesting that the Board of Commissioners approve its Georgia Environmental Finance Authority loan in the amount of $25 million from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund. These funds will be used to finance the costs of acquiring, constructing, and installing environmental facilities. Further, to authorize the chairman to execute the agreement and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of the agreement, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, all as may be required under the terms of the agreement.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, we do need a short executive session for potential litigation matter and a personnel matter.
Thank you.
Item number 19 is an appointment to the Animal Control Board to fill the unexpired term of Claudia de Guzman, who has resigned. The term expires on March 12, 2020. This is a full board appointment. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Christy Thomas.
I'll second it. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Item number 20, this is a zoning revocation public hearing. The request is for the revocation of the 2012 zoning classification at 6288 Old Dixie Road in Jonesboro due to the lack of activity. This application was approved during the July 10th, 2012 regular business meeting to amend the official zoning map from regional mixed use to medical mixed use for an assisted living facility. The subject property contains approximately 6.65 acres of land, and the request is to revoke that amendment and revert back to the regional mixed use zoning for the property. Is there anyone here to speak?
Yes, petitioners, if you would come. State your name for the record.
My name is Juetti McNeil. I live in Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236 to be specific. And good evening, distinguished Board of Commissioners. I'm here representing, can I pass these up, sir, all the commissioners? I'm here representing YM Management, which is a management company that operates more than 20 hotels in over 10 states, and not just any hotels, but quality hotels. We are in New York, Rhode Island, Alabama, Florida, Missouri, Connecticut, Texas, and of course right here in the great state of Georgia. What we are proposing, should you all approve the reversion of the zoning for this, is a Red Roof Plus. Now please abandon whatever you may think of the traditional Red Roof Inn. This is a Red Roof Plus. The traditional economy hotel brand Red Roof Inn, most of us are familiar with, has shifted some of its properties into a new brand, Red Roof Plus. What does that mean? A step up from a typical Red Roof Inn featuring higher quality furnishings, amenities, and services, which for us will attract corporate and airport business. As you will see from the renderings you are looking at right now, it will be a quality and noteworthy property which will set the precedence for other businesses to build in Clayton County. How will we do that? We will offer a high-quality hotel banquet facility with over 6,000 square feet of meeting space, 180 rooms, a Starbucks coffee station, a cafe, and bar. I heard someone speak earlier about bringing quality to Clayton County, and I agree. This property will be a beautifully landscaped, gated, and fenced with full perimeter cameras, 24-hour security, sufficient lighting. Like the Holiday Inn Stockbridge some of you may be familiar with, this facility will have a stunning interior atrium and picnic area. We will operate 2 airport shuttles on a regular schedule to welcome airport business as well as leisure travelers. I think that goes hand in hand with the Airtropolis project as well. We plan to donate 1 acre to 1.5 acres to Clayton County to develop right in front where you see the picnic area. This may be a fire station, police station, or maybe even a welcome center. YM Management takes pride in our product. There will be no low-end motels or inns, as I have seen in this area currently. In a nutshell, we can bring revenue to Clayton County and create jobs and stop losing business and revenue to Henry County. The Holiday Inn I currently work at is in Henry County, and I must say, distinguished Board of Commissioners, the Rotary Club of Clayton County, for example, has to come there and meet for their larger events because we have the larger facility. And as a Clayton County resident and a person who does business in Clayton County, it pains me to see that money going to Henry County. Bottom line, if you want to know numbers, and I work in the field of numbers, what that means is right now, YM Management has 3 hotels in Henry County. 3% of $12 million annually just in county tax alone means Henry County is receiving $360,000 for Henry County. I would rather that money go to my county, Clayton County. The dollars that the business that people are doing in Clayton County, the dollars can stay on Clayton County soil. The next point is to provide a clean, quality, and safe place for businesses and residents to meet. We are not attracting any unwanted company. I can assure you with YM Management, it is a quality company, and we pride ourselves on just that, and attracting the right business, keeping the right price point, and making sure we all have something we can be proud of to meet at. We will also welcome some businesses who require quality lodging to the area, welcome them back. For example, Holiday Inn currently serves a major intermodal company who used to do business in Clayton County at this very address when it used to be a very nice Holiday Inn, and would like very much to return due to the closer proximity of their local office. This quality property will attract new businesses and office space we can be proud of. As a resident of Clayton County, as I've already stated, and one who does business with Clayton County, I would like to see this project be produced and flourish. We can only make this happen with your vote to rezone. I want the same thing that most of us in this room want, and I'll show this picture of what they're looking at. Absolutely stunning. I want the same thing we all want: quality, safety, and most importantly, revenue for Clayton County. Thank you so much for the opportunity to address you on this matter.
All right, are there any questions? Commissioner?
Yes. You're talking about the old Holiday Inn, right?
Yes, ma'am, that's the site that we would be gutting out and rebuilding to this.
Next door to the two homeless hotels and the hotel that has prostitution.
Well, though, using your words.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Using your words, yes, because
Okay.
when the management company first came up with this, I said the same thing you did, Commissioner Hambrick, like, really? You know what I mean? But the only way,
Well,
yeah.
Let her finish.
Yeah,
Let her
but the only way, and I can understand your concerns, is as a Clayton County resident, I have that same concern. I'm like, oh my goodness, you have all these eyesores already, and that's the whole point, is to turn this ship around and change the perception and image. And you have a reputable company in over 10 states already who wants to help change that image. And with your help, hopefully we can push some of the eyesores out to welcome this worthy project. And to extend on what you just said, a kind of a funny story, I think we could all use some comedy right now. I have a friend who was formerly a resident just across the street from that prostitute-type area, and he had his small son in the car just getting gas at the gas station. And so a lady of the night came up to the window and offered a certain service for $15, and he said, "Get away from here," left with his son. He was so embarrassed, and his little boy looked up and said, "Oh, Daddy, I love lollipops. She was offering some lollipops. I sure wish you had gotten." And you know what? Thank God for his innocence, that he was shielded from what that really is. But we all have been shed of that innocence long time ago. And I am coming to you. I went to visit my Gigi last week. She turned 104 years old. And she's still able to talk. And I held her hand, and I mentioned this project to her and told her, look, and you can only imagine what she's seen. And she said, you know what? Don't be afraid to speak. Because when you speak, hopefully you'll be heard. And if you're heard, change can occur. And this is from a woman who made $1 a week many years ago and paved the way for many of us to be where we are. And I'm asking you all to do the same today to make it a better district, a better place for myself and for people who want to do business.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say a couple things. You know, I'm so leery of pretty pictures. I think about the plaza across from Allen Vigil, and I'll never forget Greg Nobles came in here and told me that was going to be the shops on Mount Zion. And he had all these pretty pictures, and look at it now. So I'm very skeptical of that. Also, whose district is this? I mean,
Ms. Chairman Edmondson's district.
Commissioner Edmondson.
okay.
Commissioner Edmondson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. I misspoke. I misspoke. Sorry, Chairman Turner, Commissioner Edmondson. I misspoke. Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay.
Last comment was, I'm sorry, Mike. My other comment was, you said he owned the Holiday Inn in Stockbridge. I mean, we'd love to have a Holiday Inn over there on 675, you know.
Yeah.
Stop some of that traffic to get in a nice Holiday Inn.
Absolutely. I told.
This is a red roof.
Yeah, it's and that's why I made the distinction in the beginning. It's a Red Roof Plus, much like you see a Best Western and then a Best Western Plus, because I think even as a brand, they recognize that you have to have something quality to attract quality business. And you're right. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up, because why a management team approached the big box DoubleTree Hilton, approached Marriott, approached Holiday Inn, all of which they currently own in other cities and counties, but they were rejected because of what she just said. So thankfully, Red Roof Plus is able to give us a chance, and hopefully this can be a springboard to bring those other brands in that you're saying. And it would really open up that, and to bring those airport dollars. I can tell you, as one who worked many years in the airport market, every time you all know a plane flies over, that's cha-ching. And I would like that money to go to Clayton County.
Well, along those lines, do y'all plan on running a shuttle from the airport to the hotel?
2 of them, yes, sir, on a
Shuttles
regular,
a day?
yes, to handle that demand. So, because oftentimes those corporate businesses, that's why that market is so oversaturated, because that's how they're getting that money. And to have that piece added to Clayton County would just be phenomenal, because as soon as you say that, they're like, wow. And it'll start changing that image. And then as this goes well, this same company also owns restaurants, and they can bring in quality restaurants, not just, some of the fast food chains that he was speaking of earlier.
What type of security will you have?
Okay, so other than the full perimeter cameras and a gated and fenced property, there will be 24-hour on-foot security as well, because we realized that we would have to be self-contained because of what Commissioner Hambrick mentioned earlier. So we're not blind to that. And so we understand that working with the county and our beloved officers, who we actually host currently at Holiday Inn, Stockbridge, and they'll actually be there tomorrow for us to honor the police officers and firefighters tomorrow, and we would like to do that at a project like this.
Did you have a
Yeah,
question?
I just want to make a statement. I will say that I do utilize the Holiday Inn and will be there tomorrow. And there is not a place that we can utilize the way we're utilizing that Holiday Inn.
Yes, ma'am.
So it would be nice to have something there. However, there is a concern about the two facilities that are already there as well. And I do honestly understand you and hear you when you say we got to start someplace. So.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, and not just any place, but again, this particular Red Roof Plus will be managed by YM Management. And the reason I keep pointing that out is because, and you can Google YM Management and look at their reputation, it is no less than what you've experienced. I think you've said how beautiful that facility is and well-maintained. It'll be no less than that. And so when you say start somewhere, we don't want that to be like, oh, this is just a little something. It'll be a big something. You're talking over 6,000 square feet of quality meeting space, a cafe, Starbucks station, and bar. So, you know, you want people to be able to enjoy that safe, enclosed facility and still have something quality inside as well.
And let me say this, you know, there is a legitimate concern about the two hotels that's just adjacent to it, but at the same time, this is a $1.8 million piece of property that's sitting there, blighted, run down, it's eyesore to the community and to the county.
Yes, sir.
They want to come in, build a quality hotel, have services to the airport at the gateway of Terra Boulevard, and we just had people come up and speak about what you see on Terra Boulevard. We truly have to start somewhere, and with effective policing and effective security measures at this place here, I don't see why this cannot be a plus and a win for Clayton County.
Yes, sir. And that's the appeal today, and I think it will. And I think I want to make sure you all heard that we are willing to donate acre and a half right up front for a police station, fire station, welcome center to strengthen that bond. Because I was taught growing up that you should change the atmosphere. You shouldn't let the atmosphere change you. And just because there are eyesores right beside you where there may have been failure in the past, there can also be success with a different approach and maybe learn from the mistakes and where something else may have failed. I'm telling you, if you have anybody come in before you just oppose a hotel, YM Management is that company. Some of the YM Management team, if you wave, they are here today just to show you that it just didn't send somebody to speak. All of us showed up, you know.
One other question. This is big for me, and I believe you just answered that when you talked about the event that you're having tomorrow, but it's always big for me for a company or business to be community engaged. Can you elaborate on some of the things that you've done for the community there in Henry County, but it also spills over to Clayton County because a lot of Clayton County businesses use your establishment?
They absolutely do. In fact, you know, where we sit right on the line. I can literally go outside and put one foot in Henry and one in Clayton. So we do have those relationships built with our officers. They're able to come in and get whatever they want out of our sundry shop, get a hot breakfast, get a dinner in the evening to, you know, when they write their reports, you know, and that makes them feel welcome because a lot of times they're sitting on the side of the road writing a report. Why not be able to come to an area where you're already patrolling and building that relationship? So we have established that. And we realize that with that relationship, that only makes this stronger, and that'll make them want to protect something quality that's in their community because they're benefiting as well. And also, I did not mention this, but Clayton County residents will receive a discount on banquet facility needs if they prove that they are a Clayton County resident. So they will directly be benefiting. But most definitely, we realize we can't do what we want to do here on Old Dixie without the support of our officers in the community, because we want them to know they're supported as well, and we're currently doing that in Stockbridge.
Okay. All right, so this is a public hearing, unless there's another question for Ms. Neal from Board of Commissioner. It is a public hearing, so if anybody else would like to come forward and have a comment, you can feel free to do so. Please, sir.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Just on the time for the rebuttals, and can you keep up with that? And is that right? This is a legitimate. We have time for either side. Just be sensitive to those times.
Okay. Come on, Mr. Vaughn now.
Thank you,
Take you
Commissioner.
next, sir.
You may keep the pictures.
Yeah, just take a seat right there in just in case there's any rebuttal.
Good evening, Chair. Timothy Vonnell Jefferson, Incorporated, Clayton County. As I speak quite often about economic development, we understand there's certain concerns on Old Dixie, but this happened to be one facility that I think in the embryonic phase of development can start turning the tide as we move forward. So after conversing with the realtor and several other young people involved with this ordeal, I truly believe that this would be a first-class facility that they would bring to the county. So as we ponder the vote, please understand that we must start sending a clear message that we are moving forward in the spirit of excellence. So I hopefully that y'all will vote in a positive way.
Thank you, sir. Come on, sir.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Slow walk is no accident. It comes with time. My name is Jack Lucas. I'm pretty much well known by most of you anyway.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Mr.
a
Lucas, if you can,
person.
Mr. Lucas, if you can pull the mic to you just.
Yeah, speak to the mic and speak to us, sir.
Hello, Mike. I'll try to speak louder. Will that help? I am a people person. That hotel and all looked good to me. But when you spoke about the lady coming up trying to sell something that's obscene, we're going to have to do something about that. We rehabilitate the neighborhood, we got to rehabilitate those people so that we don't have to be ashamed of them. I would like to have her be able to come in here one day and bragging about how we changed her life, how she was changed by all of this, and bring some of her fellow people with her.
Sir, please address us.
Sir?
Please address us.
Yeah, was I grandstanding?
Yeah.
You know how it works.
You're looking good, though.
I apologize for that, but it was fun while I was doing it. I was like Caesar with the Caesar salad. But I still think we ought to take some time for the young lady and for many of the others who are homeless in there and find out if we can't make them more productive assets to our society. Killing them, shooting them off in the prison and this sort of thing, they come out with the same old attitudes. They go in with the pants halfway hanging down, they come out with them hanging even lower. We're going to have to do something about these people because that's what I'm about. That's why you're there, because you're people.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service, sir.
How are we doing?
I don't know. How we doing on the time?
Usually there's
If
up to 3
I,
minutes on one side and 3 minutes on the other.
Hold on a second, Mr. Gooden.
Usually we have, what, 3 minutes on one side, 3 minutes on the other?
As a total? Well, I thought we couldn't stop them from talking.
All you have to do is just make certain, pardon me, all you have to do is just make certain that you give the opportunity for both sides to be heard. That's all.
Exactly.
There may not be 3 minutes against, I don't know, but.
No.
All right.
Mr.
Okay.
Gooden.
Go ahead.
If I understand, the property sits right at 75 and, well, from the time that I moved down there, that's changed hands 3 or 4 times. Okay, and each time it changes hands, it goes down 1 notch. So you're absolutely right, but if we can, Mr. Benoit about a month ago spoke about economic development, and he also said Henry County is loving our money. So we need to start bringing it back. There may be an issue with the prostitution, the streetwalkers and all that. That's what we have a police department for. And if they're going to donate an acre of land to us, then I would put a police department right there, okay? Because when we first came down here, when I first came down here, I worked for H.H. Gregg, and they had a big meeting there. It was a nice facility. It is garbage. Okay, so if we can bring that back, I'm all for it. I vote yes, by the way, okay? And it's unanimous.
Anybody else? Come on, sir.
My name is Daniel Lemberg. I'm the architect for the project. I live in Rockdale County, but I've done several projects for YM Development, and I can vouch for them that I know they have a commitment to quality. And every project I've done, which includes the Holiday Inn at Stockbridge, has been an asset to the community. And I see with as much acreage as they have on this property that we should be able to generate a nugget of high quality that I believe can regenerate the neighborhood. And I'll do everything I can to make that happen.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Bedingfield.
Is this property in Clayton County, or is it within a city limits area?
No, it's in Clayton County.
Okay, so
unincorporated
that
Clayton.
means all the tax dollars that come in through there when someone stays will come into our coffers. And to get back to the economic development part of it, that's one thing I see we, the property owners, are starting to foot the bill more and more because we need more businesses in here. So if we can bring a business in here that has a quality business that will bring more money, sales tax into our county, that'll take the burden off of us, as well as, just like I said, with the insurance, the health insurance, with our first responders and our police officers. If we can put more money back into the county, maybe we can give them a raise where they don't have to foot the bill for so much of the health insurance. So I'm all for it. I would love to see a facility come in, and when you get one good one in, you'll see the others start to come in as well. So I'm like the others, I'm all for it.
All right, anybody else like to speak? Come on, sir.
Good evening. My name is Jimmy Grover, and I work for YM. I'm a regional director of operations. I just wanted to follow up a little bit on Ms. McNeil. We do, as a company, two things. One, any of the brands we operate, our goal is to be number one in that brand. So there's always our goal to make sure that the property looks good, it's clean, guests want to keep coming back. So that wouldn't matter if it's the Holiday Inn or the Red Roof Plus, which this is going to be a Red Roof Plus, probably like nobody else has seen too much. Probably not going to see too many of them with banquet space and such. But and then the last thing to speak on is our community involvement. You had asked about it, and we have done. At Stockbridge, they sponsored a family for Christmas. We've done Feed the Homeless at First Presbyterian and items like that that we try to make sure. We had a book drive and further down in Henry County. But so just wanted to add that piece. And I thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Come on, man.
Good evening. My name is Judith Bennett. I live in Rex in unincorporated Clayton County. I am a commercial real estate broker, and so from that point of view, I look at this as a positive opportunity for economic development in the county. I am a member of the Rotary that goes to the Holiday Inn now, and I see what the management does over there for the services that we have an opportunity to take advantage of. As far as the negative pieces that exist, I will piggyback on the fact that there is a police department, there's a sheriff's department, and sometimes just sitting in front of a place deters folks from showing up, and it hurts the business owner, and then helps to make a change at something like that, helps to move the negative out. I do not condone bullies, and to allow a negative influence to run away all the positive, to me, is also a way of giving into the bully concept. I vote yes.
Anybody else? Is there anything, Ms. McNeil, you would like to say in rebuttal to anything that anybody has said?
No, sir, just a big thank you. And from where I was sitting and listening to everyone else, you all have a tough job. And I want you to know I appreciate you all very much and support you. And my 104-year-old Gigi said, you draw more bees with honey. And I came with a big pot of honey called Revenue for Clayton County. Thank you.
And you are right about that, and I thank you for your words. You know, as far as I know, there has been no other interest in this property that's just been sitting there for the last 5 years. Property tax on that property is roughly about $35,000 a year, and we generate no other revenue from it. So why shouldn't we allow this company to build a quality establishment and then start collecting motel, hotel taxes and anything else? Because if they stay there, they're going to have to eat somewhere, and they have to shop somewhere. You know, South Lake Mall is not too far from there. So I believe it can revitalize that area if it's done proper and right. And that is working with the police department, sheriff's department, and other entities around the county and up and down that strip to truly make a difference. You know, this board, the board members on several occasions has always said, why are we losing businesses to Henry County? Why is Henry County getting all the restaurants, getting hotels? Because sometimes the perception is we're not open for business, that we don't want good businesses here in Clayton County. So I hope that's truly not the case in this matter, but unless there's another comment by any of the commissioners.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, again, even though this is a zoning hearing, a zoning revocation hearing, as we always do with zonings, because each district commissioner knows their district, and so have you talked to, I think this is Commissioner Edmondson, have you talked to him about this and everything? Because this is
I
his
have,
district.
and
Okay.
they have spoke to him as well.
Okay, one of the things that, you know, I'm not gonna deviate, I'll follow the district commissioner whose district it's located in, and whatever his request is.
Okay, any other statements? Comments?
Because once we get over in, you know, I don't wanna set a precedent of, if someone.
Taking over.
Well, Commissioner, I can appreciate that you are respecting the input from the district commissioner, but hold on, let me finish my thought. But you are a commissioner on the whole county. The decisions you make affects the whole county. You're just not voting for your district or his district. The decisions that this board makes as a whole affects the whole county.
We're well aware of that, sir. We're very well aware of that. However, I mean, and you know yourself, I mean, and I don't know what, you know, Mr. Edmondson's decision is, but again, it's just like any zonings. When you come up here and you say, okay, Commissioner Gregory, this is in your district, what's your pleasure? And that's what you do. Each time, if there's a zoning in District 1.
And if it makes sense, I agree with you. But if it's something that's good for the county, I'm going to vote my conscience. I'm going to vote what the citizens have spoke on and what their desires are. Any other statements? All right, well, I'm gonna place this in a motion to approve this revocation and rezone this back to, I think it's, RM zoning. Is there a second on it?
A second.
I'd like to know, now we have a second, I'd like to know the district commissioners was his pleasure. I
Okay,
mean,
so it's probably moved in second. Are there any statements, questions, Mr. Edmondson?
I do. I have a couple of things. A couple of high-level questions for the police chief, if you would, Chief Register. The adjacent property had how many police calls in the last 12 months?
Well, one of the hotels we had over 500.
That's how many?
Over
Speaking to the
500.
mic, sir.
Over 500.
500 separate calls?
500 calls, yes, sir.
And is this particular property also a subject of concern?
I think all the properties in that area are subject to concern.
Okay.
In reference to some of the issues that have been brought out tonight, specifically the prostitution and the drugs.
And those properties in that area, the hotels, what kind of hotels are they typically?
In the area, I think we all know that they typically are, in my opinion, currently they have a lot of criminal activity in that area, and certainly a lot of the criminal activity involves the hotels. And we are trying to address that from a police department standpoint.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I have a question too then. Didn't we
Well,
just?
hold on, Ms.
Sorry.
Warner.
Oh,
Hold
sorry.
on. So, that's all, Chief. I appreciate it. So, in no particular order, that area of Terra Boulevard and Old Dixie, if you drive down there, there are signs that have $39.95 a night, $165.95 a week extended stay hotels. I met with members of the Economic Development Authority and developers just last week on the topic of redevelopment of that area, and they provided market studies that shows the market for new rent extended stay price point is the same as it is now, in the $700-800 per month subsidized price point. I have an email from Mr. Patel, the owner of the property, not even a month ago, that says he wants to refurbish it to make the old Clarion an extended stay. So with that, I'm not supportive of this at all. When it was comprehensively rezoned from GB to regional mixed-use RMX several years ago, it was done to bring it into line with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan for office space, which I think is a great opportunity. I do have a serious issue with the residential component, and that's why I don't support this.
Okay, Ms. McNeil, my question.
Mr. Turner, there's a motion and a second.
Okay. Well, let me answer the question then. From my understanding, this is not going to be an extended stay hotel.
She said herself, it's a step up from an economy.
I did not say that, sir.
No. Let's have some order now. Okay, so what I'm hearing from you, Mr. Emerson, you don't support this because of the type of hotels that are in the area. This is a rundown hotel. It's blighted, and you prefer it to stay that way and allow those other hotels still to run the prostitution, run the drugs until a time or a date down the road where they can be condemned or taken or whatever, and then you want to do something different with the area, correct?
Sure.
Did you have something, Commissioner Warner?
I don't have anything to say.
We're going to have order, okay? All right. Well, there's been a motion and a second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So it's 3-2, it fails.
Motion to deny revocation? Do we need that? Okay.
All right. Okay, so, Madam Clerk, I think that concludes the meeting, except for executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
And Mr. Chairman, this would be for potential litigation and personnel.
That's correct. Is there a second?
I'm sorry, who made the motion,
Probably
Mr.
moved in
Chairman?
second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. All right, motion to reconvene.
So moved.
I'll second it. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Commissioner Warner. Those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Good night.